everyone, so this is part 2 of my video series, basically detailing what I would change personally about Dragon Ball Super in essentially rewriting the story. And if you haven't seen part 1 of my video, check it out. In that video, I basically, went over what I would change about the Battle of Gods and Resurrection F movie, as well as their anime counterparts. And I didn't change that much, about Battle of Gods, if anything at all, really. It was mainly Resurrection F. I provided some commentary as well on, both movies, which, if you like retrospective sorts of, videos, then I recommend checking that out, as well as just seeing what I had to say in terms of ideas for how those movies could have been better. And I'll be doing essentially the same thing for, the Future Trunks saga and the Universe 6 saga before it, and even the Potaufeu arc in this video. The Potaufeu saga isn't really a standalone arc, per se, but, it's still, worth, going through, I guess. So, I hope you enjoy the video. Watch to the end, of course. That really goes without saying. Yeah. When it comes to Dragon Ball Super, with Battle of Gods and Resurrection F out of the way, you could tell the writers were excited to get to the saga because the rise in the story's quality is noticeable. The first thing I want to talk about is the part of the story where Goku and Vegeta are wanting to recruit Piccolo and Gohan. Gohan's failure in Resurrection F was supposed to motivate him to train again, especially after seeing the entire planet destroyed. In my take on Dragon Ball Super, this scene will have bigger implications of the future rather than being a throwaway filler segment. Also, since Piccolo is stronger than he was in the original story, it makes sense for Gohan to fight him while using Potential Unleashed rather than base form for the sake of consistent power scaling. So Gohan has re-attained Potential Unleashed earlier than he did in the actual Dragon Ball Super. And I think this is reasonable, considering the amount of time that they've been training together between Resurrection F and the Universe 6 saga. He'll still sit out from the Tournament of Destroyers, however, and moreover, the team will still be Goku, Vegeta, Piccolo, Buu, and Monaka. I wouldn't change the plot device of Buu falling asleep, even though I would have liked to see him do more. This is because it's hard to determine how Buu would have performed in this tournament. On one hand, I could see him breezing through all of the contestants up to hit because of his extraordinary abilities. On the other hand, though, Buu hasn't grown much stronger since Dragon Ball Z, and considering the weakest members of Team Universe 6 are at least relative to Goku and Vegeta's base forms and sheer battle power, I'm not sure how Buu would fare against them. And remember, Goku and Vegeta still have their Saiyan Beyond God boosts. The only way I could imagine Buu contending with something like that is if he unlocked his Grand Supreme Kai powers, which is something he doesn't actually manage to do until the Moro saga. Anyways, next I'd like to talk about the part where Bulma and Jaco leave for Zuno's planet. In this version of events, Piccolo would still decline Goku's invitation to train together in the hyperbolic time chamber, but he'd clarify that he's already spent enough time training in there, and he wants to find the Namekian Book of Legends to see what kind of knowledge it might contain about advancing his own powers. Learning about the existence of Zuno from Jocko intrigues Piccolo, planting the idea in his mind of someday venturing to this planet to ask where he can find the mysterious book. After that, I'd change the training that Goku and Vegeta did leading up to the Tournament of Destroyers. I think them going into the hyperbolic time chamber for 3 years was overkill. Vegeta even said they didn't improve much, although Goku learned how to combine Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken while he was in there. Regardless, their training needs to be different anyway, since they don't have Super Saiyan Blue yet in my version of Dragon Ball Super. I think now is a good time to introduce the concept of Super Saiyan Blue by having the two go into the hyperbolic time chamber and experiment with going into Super Saiyan on top of Super Saiyan God, which is basically what Super Saiyan Blue is. Additionally, I think Goku and Vegeta spending 1 year in the time chamber instead of 3 is more logical, and it's more than enough. On to the actual tournament, I don't see why anything should change about the Goku vs. Botama fight. Before the Piccolo vs. Frost fight, when Piccolo asks how he thinks he'll do, Piccolo wouldn't downplay Piccolo since he knows how strong the Namekian really has gotten. And aside from that, the battle would pretty much be the exact same, except now there's context for how Piccolo is close in power to Frost, who's near the level of Goku's Super Saiyan form. Piccolo would still forfeit the match to allow Vegeta to defeat him. After beating Frost and Vegeta, Vegeta would still face off against Kaba and teach him Super Saiyan. However, instead of showing him Super Saiyan Blue, he would show Super Saiyan God before KOing him. After all, Super Saiyan God is necessary before achieving Super Saiyan Blue, which he could teach Kaba, and not only that, but Vegeta is still saving Blue only for when he needs it, since he only recently achieved it. Next is the Vegeta vs. Hit fight, in which I believe Super Saiyan God would enable Vegeta to do better. This is because while Hit can land some critical attacks, the Super Saiyan God form heals Vegeta's body so he can stay in the ring a bit longer. Vegeta is still unsure how to counter Hit's time skip, and his only choice is transforming into Super Saiyan Blue. Since he's still not used to Super Saiyan Blue, it takes a while for him to transform, leaving him open to attacks, which Hit takes advantage of. Ultimately, Vegeta is KO'd like in the original. Going into the Goku vs. Hit match, Goku not only knows about time skip thanks to Jocko, but he also knows that Hit won't give him as much time as he needs to transform, so he really needs to strategize. Goku starts countering Hit's moves by predicting his time skip, and then transforms into Super Saiyan God to better rival Hit in terms of power. Hit improves time skip, forcing Goku to attempt to transform into Blue. He tries using instant transmission, after images, and solar flare to buy enough time to transform, but it's not enough for Hit's counter abilities, learned from being an assassin nearly 1,000 years, and his time skip. Then Goku baits Hit into thinking he'll transform, instead using Super Saiyan God Kaioken times 5 for rapid power increase that overrides the time skip. Hit improves again, and Goku responds by using Kaioken times 10. However, Hit's gaining an advantage because Goku is getting careless and taking more attacks head-on because he thinks he's above Hit's time skip. His Super Saiyan God body is taking damage faster than it can heal now that he's using Kaioken. Once he becomes aware of this, Goku paralyzes Hit with a God Bind and infuses his Kaioken energy into it so Hit won't escape via time skip. Finally, Goku transforms into Super Saiyan Blue. Normally, Hit would be weaker than Super Saiyan Blue Goku, but since he used up a lot of energy while utilizing Super Saiyan God Kaioken and took damage, the fight is still fairly even. Plus, Hit is finally going all out, not afraid of his full power being deadly to someone as powerful as Goku. The match still ends the same way, it est Goku eliminate himself. After Monaka beats Hit, everybody meets Zeno. Universe 6's Earth is restored, and Team Universe 7 returns to Earth. Piccolo asks Jocko about his meeting with Zuno. He says that when Bulma asked about the Super Dragon Balls, Zuno said that they were created by the dragon god known as Zalama. Piccolo wonders if Zalama has some connection to the Namekian race and asks Jocko if he can take him to Zuno's planet, to which Jocko reluctantly agrees. Now onto the Potaufeu saga. Even though this saga is technically filler, I want to include it here anyway. A lot of people dislike this saga, but I personally don't mind it. To me, it's better than the Resurrection F saga of the anime, and it's decent animation-wise. It's also rather fast-paced, and it's one of the only parts of Dragon Ball Super that focuses on Goten and Trunks. However, there are significant changes I would make. After Goten and Trunks are taken to planet Potaufeu, Bulma has to call Jocko, who is taking Piccolo back to Earth from planet Cereal. Now you're probably wondering why planet Cereal is being introduced so early in the story, and what business Piccolo had going there. It has to do with the origins of Namekians as a species. In the Granola the Survivor saga, Monaito reveals that planet Namek isn't the original home of the Namekians, and they're actually from a different realm altogether. Monaito seems to know more about the Namekian people than even Piccolo does. I think it would make sense if the Namekians of Planet Cereal were in possession of the Namekian Book of Legends, which would explain the Cerealian Dragon Ball's remarkable properties compared to Earth and Namek sets. Anyways, in my version of Dragon Ball Super, Zuno told Piccolo to visit Monaito to see the sacred book. I'd assume Piccolo wouldn't run into Granola while there, as he'd probably be away on a mission. But I find it likely that Monaito would mention him to Piccolo. Bulma asks Jocko to stop at planet Potaufeu first to bring Goten and Trunks home. They arrive to Goten and Trunks' rescue, who are being attacked by the cloned enemies who were created by Kami-san. Piccolo is more than enough for these enemies, just as Vegeta was, and before he can fight Grill, Kami-san swallows him and makes copy Piccolo. So basically, Piccolo is taking Vegeta's place in this saga. I feel this is better because we've already seen multiple other instances of an evil Vegeta, so that plot device has gotten stale. There was Vegeta's first appearance in the Saiyan saga, Majin Vegeta in the Buu saga, and Baby Vegeta in Dragon Ball GT. Meanwhile, the only time Piccolo was quote-unquote evil was in the 23rd World Martial Arts Tournament, unless you count his predecessor King Piccolo. Also, Lord Slug and Garlic Jr., I guess you could say, were sort of like evil versions of Piccolo, but I don't necessarily count those. At any rate, Piccolo is powerless after being drained by Kami-san, leaving Goten and Trunks as the only people who can fight Copy Piccolo. Gotenks is seriously outmatched against Copy Piccolo. Considering Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks' power had no effect on base Vegeta, or Saiyan Beyond God Vegeta in other words, There's no way he would even stand a chance against Piccolo, who's even stronger than he was in the original story. Piccolo still hasn't learned how to achieve a Super Namekian God power up, but thanks to his encounter with Monito and getting to read the Namekian Book of Legends, he has the necessary knowledge to eventually achieve it. Besides that, Piccolo has perfect ki control, which is an ability Copy Piccolo has access to. Like in the main timeline, Goku senses what's going on and teleports to Potaufeu. He stops Copy Piccolo from pummeling Goten and Trunks and notices the real Piccolo, who is close to vanishing. Grill instructs Clone Piccolo to absorb Goku, but he declines just as Copy Vegeta did. Clone Piccolo isn't pure evil and didn't want to kill Goten and Trunks. Instead, he simply wants to fight Goku, hoping to push himself to heights that even Piccolo hasn't. This excites Goku, who comments on how much Piccolo has improved since Beerus' arrival over a year ago. Goku begins by fighting Copy Piccolo in base and cranks it up to Super Saiyan afterwards, but Copy Piccolo is still holding his own. Piccolo barks at Goku to hurry up and beat him because his life depends on it, but he also tells Copy Piccolo to try harder, to the confusion of everyone else. Goku transforms into Super Saiyan God to end the fight quickly, but Copy Piccolo responds by going into a new red-eye transformation. You may notice that I'm borrowing this idea from Dragon Ball Heroes. Everyone is shocked, including Piccolo, who's amazed that his clone achieved this level of power. He read in the Namekian Book of Legends that this state of being is possible for Super Namekians with evil hearts. Thus, the real Piccolo isn't cut out for this form, but Copy Piccolo is. However, there is another form than this one accessible to pure-hearted Super Namekians, which is what the true Piccolo is working towards. God Piccolo and Red-Eyed Clone Piccolo are trading blows evenly, but the latter might be at a disadvantage since Piccolo has never used this ability before. Plus, since Piccolo isn't completely evil, as I said before, he can't use the full power of this transformation. Nonetheless, Piccolo has to start sucking on the pacifier so he stays alive long enough for Goku to finish the job. Even though Monaka smashed Kamisen's core, Piccolo is still on the verge of disappearing. Goku knows that he won't have time to transform into Super Saiyan Blue, so he opts for Super Saiyan God Kaioken times 10 and disintegrates Copy Piccolo with a Kamehameha, thus saving Piccolo's life. Goku is annoyed that he had to combine Kaioken and Super Saiyan God again after he just overcame delayed onset ki disorder, but noticed that he's not totally exhausted after using it this time. Back on Earth, Piccolo notices Pan sucking on a pacifier and is irritated that he chewed on something meant for babies. However, he's not as bothered as Vegeta was in the original story. Rather, Piccolo's more confused on the fact that Clone Piccolo pulled off the godly ability that he had studied from the Namekian Book of Legends. And he tells Goku that he's determined to become a Super Namekian God. The Goku Black saga got off to a really good start, so there isn't much I would change up to the point where future Trunks meets present Gohan. Originally, Trunks asks Piccolo where to find Gohan, but in my story, Piccolo will be absent for most of this saga. The reason is that Piccolo went to Dende's lookout to train. He's not in the hyperbolic time chamber, but rather the divine sage realm, where the spirits of Earth past guardians reside. In there, Piccolo is trying to expunge any remaining evil, including King Piccolo's spirit that still dwells in him. Krillin is able to tell Trunks where Gohan is, so Trunks finally gets to meet him. Since Gohan has been keeping up with his training as of this saga, Trunks doesn't say that Gohan's not as powerful. Instead, he observes that Gohan's ki feels more like an Earthling's than a Saiyan's, as opposed to the last time when he saw Gohan as a Super Saiyan 2. After having dinner with Gohan and his family, Trunks asks Gohan if he can still transform into a Super Saiyan 2. Gohan confirms and demonstrates it, but he states that he discovered a form beyond it after having his potential unlocked by the Elder Kai, released from the Z Sword. Future Trunks says that he also trained with the Z Sword on Supreme Kai's planet, but he never broke it, and thus he never got Potential Unleashed. In terms of power, Potential Unleashed Gohan is currently stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku, but weaker than Super Saiyan God, which makes sense because he was also stronger than Super Saiyan 3 in the Buu saga. Trunks said that future Gohan told him their best chance at victory was to grow stronger as Saiyans, not as Earthlings. After sparring in their respective Super Saiyan 2 forms, future Trunks explains everything that's going on in the future and asks for Gohan's help. Gohan accepts, saying that he owes his life to future Trunks and he gets to enjoy a happy life as a scholar, husband, and father because of him. When future Trunks goes to the future, he's joined not only by Goku and Vegeta, but also by Gohan. While there, people recognize Gohan and surprised to see him alive as they thought he died many years ago against the androids. Gohan is confused, but Trunks corrects them, pointing out that this is Gohan from another timeline. Afterwards, the team confronts Goku Black, and Vegeta is the first to fight him. This time, he goes into Super Saiyan God rather than Blue. Goku Black, still in base, is unfazed by Vegeta's assault. Then, he reveals his own Super Saiyan God form, which far outclasses Vegeta's. Goku Black's God form is nearly identical to Goku Vegeta's, but has a pinkish tint to it. Like in the original, he defeats Vegeta almost right away. Goku skips Super Saiyan God and goes straight into Super Saiyan Blue, and proceeds to face off with Goku Black. Goku puts up a better fight than he did initially, but he begins losing steam as he's still not very well adjusted to Super Saiyan Blue yet. Eventually, Zamasu of the future joins the fray. With Gohan there, the heroes still have an advantage in numbers. Goku and Gohan fight Goku Black together, while Trunks battles Zamasu. Zamasu is immortal, and Trunks is the weakest member of the team, so the best he can do is prevent Zamasu from assisting Goku Black, which works because Zamasu is only about as strong as Super Saiyan 2 Trunks. Meanwhile, Gohan's Potential Unleashed is able to make a difference in conjunction with Super Saiyan Blue Goku, but Goku Black is getting steadily stronger while Goku's becoming more tired. Eventually, the heroes are overwhelmed, and they have to escape to the present timeline. The entire team still comes to the conclusion that Goku Black is a clone of Goku, although Gohan remains skeptical. After Beerus destroys present Zamasu, the heroes think it's okay to return to the future, but of course they are wrong. They are found by Black and Zamasu subsequent to regrouping with the surviving humans. When Goku asks Black if he's a clone, he denies this and says it's Zamasu in Goku's body. Gohan says he had the feeling this was the case, and time travel has something to do with there being two Zamasus. Zamasu confirms this, and explains how he switched bodies with Goku and went to the future to team up with his alternate self. Goku Black reveals that he's ascended again, transforming into Super Saiyan Rose. Goku and Vegeta both respond by going into Super Saiyan Blue. I should note that in addition to Black's new form, this will be the first time the audience gets to see Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta in action, even though he's been able to do it since the Universe 6 saga. With that said, it'll be shown as a more epic moment, especially with Goku fighting alongside him in his respective blue form. While they're combating Rose Black, Gohan and Trunks are taking on Zamasu together. Gohan is in Super Saiyan 2 instead of Potential Unleashed, taking his future self's advice of growing as a Saiyan. Goku Black wears down Goku and Vegeta enough to kick them aside and come to future Zamasu's aid. Goku Black is much stronger than they are, so he makes quick work of them. Goku and Vegeta try to help them, but even with all four of them working together, the combination of Black and Zamasu is still too much to handle. They are the same person after all, so they have flawless synergy. While the others are incapacitated, Black and Zamasu manage to corner Goku, and they give a villainous monologue. Then Black reveals that he killed Chi-Chi and Goten, and Goku gets a rage boost, just as he did in the original. Goku is briefly stronger than Goku Black and Zamasu combined, but Goku Black surpasses Goku once again and stabs him. All of this seems pretty similar to the original events, but the part where Trunks transforms into Super Saiyan Rage is where things get different. Zamasu calls Trunks a sinner, saying that he's the reason humanity is doomed. Gohan defends Trunks, saying that if he hadn't traveled to the past, then there wouldn't be a more peaceful timeline. Black and Zamasu continue to berate Trunks, saying that Goku would be gone if it wasn't for Trunks' tampering with history. Goku not succumbing to the heart virus allowed Goku Black to exist. They also blame Gohan as the future version of him was Trunks' teacher, and he protected Trunks from the androids, which allowed him to go to the past in the first place. Then a deep rage starts boiling within not only Trunks, but Gohan too. At the same time, they transform into Super Saiyan Rage. One of the downsides of Super Saiyan Rage in the original story is that it was never properly explained, and it appeared out of the blue, no pun intended. My theory is that Super Saiyan Rage is Trunks' way of adapting to all of the godly energies around him, accessing that dimension of power through primal anger rather than calm emotions. Also, since Trunks temporarily buffed up and lost his pupils before returning to his regular size and developing blue pupils, I think Super Saiyan Rage is a result of using Super Saiyan Grade 3 on top of Super Saiyan 2 and using God Ki to reduce the muscle size while increasing their power. It's not far-fetched, since Trunks used Grade 3 plus Super Saiyan 2 when he briefly sparred with Vegeta. You could think of Super Saiyan Rage as an alternate successor to Super Saiyan 2, whereas Super Saiyan 3 is a more direct successor. In terms of power, I think Super Saiyan Rage is in a similar camp to Super Saiyan God, although perhaps inferior in terms of stamina and ki control. Nevertheless, future Trunks and Gohan in their Rage forms will still be above Super Saiyan God Goku or Vegeta due to their half Saiyan potential. Anyways, they are able to hold off Black and Zamasu, giving Goku, Vegeta, and Bulma the chance to escape to the present. They go to Capsule Corp to tell everyone that Goku Black is an even bigger threat than they realized. Goku wonders where Piccolo is, thinking that he could help, but no one has a clue. Piccolo isn't around to suggest the evil containment wave as he did originally, but since Goku thought of learning it from Master Roshi on his own, he still goes to the Kame house to learn that. Vegeta goes to Dende's lookout to enter the hyperbolic time chamber. After all is said and done, Bulma readies the time machine. Vegeta tells Goku he conversed with Dende before going into the time chamber. He said Piccolo was on the lookout, training in the Divine Sage realm, and he can't interrupt or else a disaster would ensue. Meanwhile, in the future, Gohan and Trunks are trying to get a better grasp of Super Saiyan Rage, with Gohan pondering its nature. He recognizes that it's God Ki overlapping with Mortal Ki and thinks that Saiyan's ability to get stronger after experiencing intense emotions is what triggered it. Their training is interrupted when one of the humans tells them that Future Mai and other squadrons went to Goku Black's hideout in an attempt to strike while his defenses are lowered. Trunks senses Mai's ki, and the two half-Saiyans rush over to her location. They save her in the nick of time, and both Gohan and Trunks are able to fight Goku Black more evenly than before. It buys enough time for Goku and company to arrive in the future, and Vegeta easily overpowers Rose Goku Black since he trained in the time chamber for 6 months. Trunks isn't as badly injured as he was in the original since he had Gohan's support, so they hold off future Zamasu. Goku retrieves the urn from the destroyed time machine and accompanies Bulma to her portable garage to fix the urn. Once it's fixed, Goku heads to the battlefield and performs the evil containment wave on Zamasu. He succeeds in forcing him into the urn, but he realizes that he grabs the wrong talisman from Master Roshi. This is also what happened in the manga of Dragon Ball Super, instead of forgetting the talisman altogether as he did in the anime, which I believe is a boneheaded mistake that's simply a result of bad writing. Zamasu escapes the urn, and Goku Black rushes over to them, who was in the middle of using the same interdimensional scythe technique that he used in the original. Zamasu tells him that it's time to fuse, and they become merged Zamasu. With both immense power and immortality, merged Zamasu is a force to be reckoned with. Even with Gohan there, the dire circumstances aren't much different. Vegeta and Trunks use their father-son Gallic Gun against Zamasu's Holy Wrath, followed by Goku and Gohan performing a father-son Kamehameha to nullify another Holy Wrath. After that, Goku combines Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken to subdue Zamasu, which is risky because he hasn't tried it before in this version of the story. He pulls it off thanks to ki control, but he is clearly tired as he powers down. Zamasu is enraged, and the heroes need to think of something fast. Goku suggests fusion, but Vegeta scoffs at the idea. Gohan and Trunks offer to fuse since they're more willing to do so, and Supreme Kai hands them the Potara earrings. They eat senzu beans and put on the earrings, and then they fuse into Gohanks. He jumps into Zamasu's view and introduces himself as Gohanks, and he powers up into Super Saiyan Rage. This fight is a lot more even than Vegeta versus merged Zamasu, since Gohan and Trunks individually are weaker than Goku Black, but stronger than future Zamasu. Gohanks isn't holding back and is taking this fight seriously, unlike how Vegito did. However, Zamasu is still regenerating from every attack regardless of how much power Gohanks puts into it, which Vegeta makes note of. Then Mai arrives and delivers Trunks' broken sword. This gives Goku an idea. Merged Zamasu is immortal because of future Zamasu, But this immortality is unstable because of Goku Black, who has a mortal body. If they, if they gathered enough mixed energies, they could completely sabotage merged Zamasu's immortality, allowing Gohanks to destroy him. Goku begins gathering energy as he would for a spirit bomb, and Vegeta transforms into blue, heading into the combat zone to bring Gohanks the broken sword. Zamasu and Gohanks are going back and forth, with each character gradually getting stronger due to their enormous potential. They might even be rivaling Vegito Blue from the original Future Trunks saga. Vegeta tags in, telling Gohanks about Goku's plan to focus all the energy gathered from the surviving Earthlings into a single point in order to beat Zamasu. Gohanks takes the sword with him and enters the spirit beacon, knowing that he wouldn't be harmed since he has a righteous heart, as Gohan has prior experience doing this from the Saiyan saga. He absorbs the surrounding energy into himself and projects a blade of spirit energy from the broken end of the sword. Exponentially stronger than before, he charges back towards Zamasu, just in time to stop Vegeta from getting utterly demolished. After a brief struggle, Gohanks cuts merged Zamasu in half, who seemingly disappears into oblivion. Gohanks diffuses and it appears the future is saved. However, Astral Zamasu still comes out of the woodwork. Gohan and Trunks are too exhausted to fight anymore, and Goku and Vegeta aren't strong enough individually to wipe out Zamasu, whose consciousness was quickly spreading across the entire universe. Goku says it's now their turn to fuse, and Vegeta agrees, realizing they don't have a choice. Using Gowasu's Potaras, they become Vegito. Knowing the urgency of the situation, Vegito wastes no time in transforming into Super Saiyan Blue, and even activates Kaioken times 10 on top of that. Vegito Blue swiftly charges up a final Kamehameha and fires it directly at Astral Zamasu, annihilating him from existence before he can expand any further. The way I see it, Gohanks genuinely killed Merged Zamasu, and Astral Zamasu is basically his otherworld form. As per Dragon Ball rules, if you die twice, you cease to exist. Even though Astral Zamasu is more durable than Merged Zamasu, Vegito's superior power more than makes up for that. Because of the rapid influx of power, Vegito diffuses pretty much right away, but it doesn't matter since the job is already done. There was no need for the Omni King to erase Zamasu, because Vegito did so before Zamasu could kill the remaining inhabitants of Earth. Since they never bring future Zeno to the present, Goku needs to think of somebody else to play with present Zeno. The gang returns to the present, greeted by Goten, present Trunks, and Mai, as well as Chi-Chi, Krillin, and Android 18. Piccolo is also there, who just finished training at Dende's lookouts, and is in disbelief of how much transpired in his absence. Future Trunks is glad that his world and its people are safe, but it's still sad that he lost Future Bulma. Whis says that Trunks did them a great service by warning of Zamasu, who'd become a threat to Beerus' life as well as many other gods. In exchange, he'll go to the future and restore the Super Dragon Balls, and then wish for all of the damage caused by Goku Black to be undone. Trunks is grateful, but asks if Whis can wish for the android's devastation to be undone in addition to Goku Black's, which Whis agrees to. Later, future Trunks and Mai say their goodbyes, ready to travel to a more optimistic future. If the wish went as it should, then not only will future Bulma be back, but even people who died long ago, like future Gohan, Vegeta, Piccolo, and so on. As Trunks and Mai fly off in the time machine, Gohan and Piccolo fly upwards also, and Gohan raises his fist. Trunks sees this, and the realization dawns on him that he'll be able to see his timeline's version of Gohan again. Trunks tears up and feels bittersweet as he goes to the future one last time. I hope you all enjoyed this take on the story, and the Tournament of Power is next. I put even more effort into changing that saga than all of the previous sagas combined, so please look forward to that in the near future. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. And let me know in the comments what you would have done differently, if anything at all, and if you like some of the changes that I came up with. This has been the Sammy Classic Sonic Fan, and I'm signing out. Hey everyone, so you know what time it is? It's end of video squad time. Thanks to all of you who watched to the end of the video. Just remember, if you want me to answer any question that you might have, just hashtag end of video squad. So yeah, today we just have one comment to answer, which, you know, that works because it means the video doesn't have to be as long. Anyways, the comment is from Mensa Boteng. I don't know if I pronounced that right, but they have mangoes as their profile picture. That's interesting. I ate a mango earlier today, but anyways. And he or she says, would you like to see Broly become an important ally who makes occasional appearances? I would love that. I would love that. There's really a lot of different things they could do with Broly's character. You know, I could envision a scenario where Frieza sort of forces him to do his bidding by, like, holding Chi-Lai and Lomo captive. I could see that happening, but, you know, more than anything else, you know, it would be great if he was an ally to the Z Fighters, and, you know, he could step in and fight when his potential is needed, because, you know, while Goku and Vegeta have Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego, Broly has his rapid, you know, power growth rate that he can essentially use to adapt in battle to pretty much any opponent, which, you know, that's a great advantage to have. So, yeah, you know, I love to see him more, and it seems like he's going to be in Dragon Ball Superhero, because you can sort of make out his appearance in the trailer that came out for that movie, and it looks like he's going to be training with Goku on Beerus' planet, so it seems like he's going to be sort of getting his power under control, which, you know, that's definitely something he needs to do, rather than, like, going berserk all the time. Yeah, of course, it's not going to be about him. The movie's not going to be about him. It's going to be about more so what's going on with Gohan and Piccolo and Pan and you know, just the other long established characters, which I'm perfectly fine with. So, yeah, basically to summarize, I hope Broly gets involved a lot more in the future. So yeah, thank you all for watching again, and stay tuned for more content.